Okay, so here's what we're doing today. Are you ready? On your whiteboard, you could write sine of 165. Now, a couple things when you see this on an ACT or SAT, for those of you who are going to be taking it in the next couple of weeks, we do it here at school, or if you're taking a placement test when you get to your college, because many of you seniors will be doing that as well, it will actually say, find the exact value. So the first thing is, I need to talk to you about, because in a lot of these placement tests, and you're allowed to use a calculator, and you would say, okay, Michelle, how hard is that? And you'd put this in your calculator. Guys are watching me, here we go. And you're going to get some weird, freaky decimal, right? You get some weird, freaky decimal. I'm making it up. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to make it up. Let's say it's 3, 7, 5, 2, 1, blah, 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 blah. Here's the first thing I need to tell you. That feels like to us, because it's decimally, it's exact. It's like, oh, it's the decimal one. I'm not giving you the fractioning one. I'm giving you the decimal one because that's exact. Turns out in math, that's wrong. This is not an exact answer. This is an exact answer because this is a decimal that goes on forever. It's an estimate. This is the exact answer. And when you get to calculus or when you go to college pre-calc, the reason we want it in this form is because later in the problem, we might be dividing with a little twirly flip and you can cancel. But if you have it as a decimal, you can't cancel stuff, right? You're like, I don't know if that cancels into there because it's weird decimals. So we will ask in this class for exact answers, which means we're going to get square roots. Talk to me. Sometimes, but sometimes tonight we're going to get answers that look like this. Root 6 minus root 2 over 4. And they won't always do that, pluses and minuses. So, here's what my first, guys are ready? My first inclination, if I saw this problem on a test, is to use my calculator. And it may not give me the right answer. So my second idea is unit circle. And I'm going to be like, okay, 160, oh shoot, it's right here. And I don't have a 165 spot. So we are going to use a third option. And this is what we're going to do tonight. Our third option looks like this. What if we instead took stuff we knew? I know 165 is made up of 45 plus 120. That makes 165. So what if I did this? Sine of 120 plus 45. And it turns out that actually works. But there's a problem. Because of course there is. Here's the problem. We are all, what you want to do, in essence, is distribute the sign here and go sine 120 plus distribute this guy sine 45. Turns out in math, the only time you can ever distribute, ever, is with numbers and letters. You can't distribute operations. Sine is a thing. That's doing opposite over hypotenuse. We can't distribute it. Just the same way you all want to. You all this whole year want to distribute that square. You all want to make that 5 squared plus 25. And what I've told you all flipping year is you can't distribute that 2. You got to write it twice and claw it out. Same thing here. We are going to do this, but we can't do it by distribution. What we have to use is this crazy formula. Am I going to make you memorize the formula? No. Is it going to be really easy for you to pull out your magic note sheet and use the formula? Yes. But the formulas are crazy. For those of you who had an algebra 2 trig, you're going to be like, oh my God, yes. When I put them up, you're going to be a little triggered. because I think people made you try to memorize them last year. I'm not going to make you memorize it. You have beautiful brains. Fill it full of other things, but know how to use these formulas. So here's what I want you to do. Magic note sheet out. My advice about what we're about to do, this is what I would do. I would write the title of it now. We're coming down our magic note sheet, or maybe on the back. I would write the title, sum, and don't write it yet. I'm going to put it really big because you can't read this. Sum and difference. And then I would write sum, dot, dot, difference, dot, dot. And if you're like, what? I'm about to show you a slide. Are you ready? Here we go. So however you want to organize it, we're going to have 2 formulas right here and 2 formulas right here. So I am now going to do that thing that elementary teachers did when you had spelling tests. I am going to walk around the room saying random things so you have time to write this down. You ready? Write this down on your purple sheet.
Wait.
I am going to wait. I got you. Remember when you took spelling tests, they go like this? Bitter. Bitter. Your pre-calc teacher is a bitter woman. Bitter. Next word, retirement. Retirement. She should have thought long and hard about her retirement. Vulgar. Vulgar.
Are you describing yourself or someone else?
Listen to her videos. The language is talking. Vulgar. Terminated. Terminated. Her, because of her relationship with students that's inappropriate, she will be terminated. Not that. I meant more like I just say rude things. Yes, that is perfect.
Basically, just submitted to you.
No, not that. Misspoke. Misspoke. She apparently misspoke. Everybody about ready to get some formulas written on there. I have a lot of highlighters to those things, so you might want to even highlight them up. So let me tell you a couple things I want you to write here. We don't like the word sum because we're big babies. You know what sum means? Sum means adding. This is the adding one. We are going to be plussing. Yes, that's a good English word, plussing. We're going to be adding. So here we go. There's going to be a sine one where we add 2 angles together to get 165, right? And here's the first one. La, 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 la. I'm going to move this dot over here. Here he is. Here he is.
Where did you get that from?
What?
Like, where do you pull it from?
I know. Here's what I want you to notice. Plussing. Plussing. Take your time. Write it carefully. What do A and B mean? That means we're going to have 2 different angles, right? We're going to be adding 2 angles together. We'll be adding an A angle and a B angle. But it's critical. In a second, I'm even going to talk to you about what, like, I had a student last year who missed every single one of these on the test. Every single problem. She got them off. And that's because she wrote the formulas wrong. So careful. I did. I let her. She came back. She was in tears. She's all, why are these wrong? Look, I did exactly what was on my sheet. And I said, yeah, your sheet was wrong. So I am going to reach down and grab the cosine one. For those of you who are ready to write it, if you're still writing the other one, that is fine. Right? This is the plussing one. Be careful on this stupid formula. Were these, God knows how they came up with this. Literally, I don't know. I was going to look it up last night and I thought, I don't care. But check this out. There's a minus right there. Why? I don't know. But watch for it, right? Would it have made more sense that it has a plus? Yes. Did it work that way? No. So would I use a highlighter to kind of highlight some things I got to watch for? I would. Do I have highlight? I got them. I got them. You got them? Here's there. No. Weirdly, you know, we think like people I think they're in your things. If you're ready, we can also subtract angles. We can also do that by subtracting them. We could say, I need to get, so here's where we're going to get to. You don't have to write this down yet. I'm just showing you. In a minute, we might be doing sine of 15. Well, I don't have 15. 15 is right here. So you know what I would do? I would say the sine of 45 take away 30. Does that make sense? So sometimes we add angles, like to get to 75, but sometimes we subtract them. And when we do that, we have to use different formulas. And those formulas, here we are, they're called the difference of angles. This is our minus, and this is when we are subtracting. We don't like the word difference. This is subtracting. Kids ask me, are they negative angles? We don't want negative angles because they're not on our unit circle. So we are going to be using this formula. Let me move this dot over. We're using this formula. And we're using, oh, I see him down there. Ooh, that formula. Write them down carefully. Look at this guy. Has a stupid plus right there. Mr. Cerisa used to teach this. Is called a sine sandwich. The sine ones goes on the outside, a little sine sandwich. And cosine makes more sense, but it's got the wrong sign inside. Me, I just say, look on your freaking paper. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. When you're done writing these, will you put your pencil down so I know you're done? Because then we're going to do a quick little 2-minute thing in a minute, but I don't want to do it till everyone's done writing. And I don't really want to rush you. Hey, you got them written down?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I don't want what happened last year to happen again, I'm going to ask you right now. Find someone at your table group and switch papers with them. Do that now. Switch your paper with someone at your table group. You can do it as a round robin. I don't care how you do it. Your job is to look at these carefully and make certain that they wrote them right. Check their work. Right? I don't want anyone to blow these on the test and feel like, well, I did all the work right. It's like, damn it, you didn't have this negative all the way through or whatever, right? You put your sign in A and B in the wrong place. So check their work. You know, friend. Do you guys have things still memorized?
I remember this.
Yeah, I see it, but no, and I feel that when every year I memorize, but like if you held it over my head yesterday, it's just over my lips, I'm like, you're fine.
Definitely.
No, so, no, I got other things. Do I remember my phone number from when I was a child? Absolutely, that I remember. And song lyrics. Why do I know song lyrics? Okay, are we ready to do some? We got 3 to do tonight on our whiteboards. So go ahead, get your whiteboard pen out. You don't have to write these as notes because they're that easy. And then we'll do some practice problems for homework. I am going to check it because seniors, today is the best you're going to feel literally until May, because senioritis is going to hit pretty hard. We're in the grind, and I know we're here. It's only going to get worse. So I'm going to check homework so I keep you doing it. Okay, are we ready? So let's do this one. Ready? Sine of 165. 165 is not on your list. So we need to come up with 2 angles that either add to make 165 or subtract to make 165. It doesn't matter which way you choose, but they are different formulas. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. Anything that has a 5 in it is probably going to be easiest to do with the number 45. So that's how I do it. I'll be honest. This part right here, this is the hard part for me. What makes 165? And I only want to use these numbers in here, right? I only want to use ones that I know. So I know it's going to be 45 plus something. So I think to myself, 45, I use a calculator, 165 minus 45, 120, right? So here I go. I'm going to say the sign of 165 is going to be 120 plus 45. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. This is A and this is B. Are we good? Your job now is to go and find the right formula. It is a plus 1. That's sum, and it is sign. So you're going to go ahead, and I did it like this. Some of you are going to do it in one step, but I'm going to take 2 to show you how I did it. I'm going to say sign. I'm going to use my little formula sheet because I don't want to blow this. It's sine of A, and then it's cosine B, and then it's plus cosine A sine B. I'm going to go ahead and pop out the A's and B's, and I'm going to write 120, 45. Are some of you going to do this right away? You absolutely can. 120. It is easy. And wait till you see every answer is almost exactly the same. Wait till you see how easy it is. Now, we're done with the math. There's literally no more math. Go to your unit circle. Are you ready? Grab your little unit circle out. Pick off the sign of 120. There he is. He's root 3 over 2. Boom. Go to cosine of 45. Pick him off right here. Root 2 over 2. Plus, go to cosine of 120. Watch it. It's negative. Be careful. It's negative 1/2. And do this guy, root 2 over 2. I'm going to take a breath and make sure everyone's okay. Have I lost anyone? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think I put a tiny unit circle on the top. Yeah.
Wait, what sign has 1?
Yes, but I don't have 15 on my unit circle, right? I have to use stuff I know. Good question. Okay, so let's do a little math. Remember, in Numberlandia, they're tramps. Anyone will multiply with anyone. People in jail will multiply with people in jail because, jail's hard and you need to, find love where you can. People out of jail stick with people out of jail. So here's what I got. Root 6 over 4. True that. Root 2, negative root 2 over 4. Now, numbers are a little more petty when it comes to adding and subtracting. If they're not exactly the same, they don't come together. So guess what? We're done. Our answer is root 6 minus root 2 over 4. We're done.
Why don't you add those?
Because really the way we add square roots, that would look like this. 3 root 6 plus 5 root 6 would be 8 root 6s, right? I can make them multiply together, but they won't add together. Good question, right? Okay, here's what's crazy. Every answer tonight will consist of 3 parts. A root 6, a root 2, all over 4. And all that's going to change is where there might be a negative or positive and which one comes first and which one comes second. Every single flippin' answer will just have a root 6 in it, a root 2 in it, and a 4 in it. Now, you're thinking, that makes it easy. It does. But it also means you've got to be careful with those negatives, right? People on the test are like, Miss T, why'd you take off so much? I just missed a negative. And I said, because that's all there is to it, right? So you got to be careful. Nice and slow. Are you cool? Let's try a new one. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Let's try, not that one. I don't, let's do this one. Cosine of 285. Okay, now there are ways to get this, lots of ways. I'm going to do it by adding. Someone in one of my other classes did something like, I think they did 330 take away 45. Could I do that? Yeah, but I like adding. So I'm going to take 45. I always do it 45. 45 plus what gets me 285, 240. There he is. So I'm using this guy right here. Oops. I'm using this guy right here. Let's grab him. And I'm using this guy. That's what I did. Now, other people in my other class said, well, what if instead I used 130 and 150? And you know what I said to them? Good for you. It'll work. As long as it actually makes 285, I don't care what you use. Because guess what? They're all going to give you sixes and one twos. So it'll work. It'll work. So here I go. I'm going to say cosine. You do you. You want to test me and feel like, screw you, Missy. I'm using different numbers because I don't like your stupid numbers. Then I'm going to say, yay, you.
Wait.
Yes.
The 45?
Yes, it can be first and the other one. But be careful. It matters when we subtract, right? So watch. 3 plus 5 can be 5 plus 3. But 5 minus 3 is different than 3 minus 5. So when we do the subtract ones, we got to be more careful. Good question. Oh, we're going to do one and I'll show you how to do it. It depends on whether we want a positive answer or a negative answer, right? Okay, go ahead and give it a try. Look up your formula. That's what I'm doing. It's the cosine one. Be careful. There's a hidden negative in that stupid cosine formula. I hate him. Cosine A, cosine B. I use cosine, and it's got a plus on this one. So that means it's the sum formula. Minus sine A, sine B. Some of you are going to get pretty fast with this, like kind of memorizing the formula. I'm going to say cosine 240. Cosine 45 minus sine 240 sine 45. Now I just pick them off. I literally pick them off. And you know what? I already know these ones. Root 2 over 2. Root 2 over 2. Those ones are easy. 240. I don't know 240. Here I go. So cosine negative 1/2. And, ooh, watch those negatives and positives. Look at this one. It's got a negative, right? I got a negative here and a negative for this guy. So be careful, right? Turns into a positive, absolutely. So my answer at the end, negative root 2 plus root 6 all over 4. See what I said? Everything. It's going to have 6s and root 2s. And sometimes one will be in the front and one will be in the back. Now, if you did it different than me and you picked different numbers, here's what you might have gotten. Root 6 minus root 2 over 4. Is that the same answer? Yeah, because look, it's a negative, yeah, and a positive. They just switch places. Then here's how I tell my TAs when they're grading these. Whoa, as I choked right there. Look for the negative root 2. Somewhere in their answer, negative root 2, right? Are we cool? Are we cool? Let's try some subtracting ones. Let's try a subtracting one. Okay. Ooh, we don't want to do that one yet. Oh, I'm going to erase this one. Okay. Well, now I kind of already gave it to you. I need to get the sign of 15. Well, it's pretty small. There's not really anything that's going to add to be 15 on my unit circle, right? It's small. So I'm going to have to subtract 2 numbers to get to 15, right? When I have to get to small stuff, I need to subtract. So for me, I did 45 take away 30. Are there a ton? Could you literally do 300 take away 315? Yeah. Or 315 take away 300? Absolutely. Like, that's easy. I don't care what you use, but pick 2 that when you subtract them will give you 15. So this is going to be a difference one. I did 45 minus 30. So if you want to know what formula to use, it's that dude. It's a difference. So go to sign, go to your subtracting formulas, right? It's not hard, but you just got to watch the details. That's why I suck at these, because I miss the details. I miss the negatives, and then I'm screwed. Because I am lazy. Sine, oh, I got to look. Damn it, I think I know these every time, and I don't. So sine, oh, it's a sine sandwich. Sine A cosine B minus cosine A sine B. I'm double checking because I don't want to get those wrong. You guys will be really mad at me. Sine 45 cosine 30 minus cosine 45 sine 30. I think that's right. Now, I had someone ask me in my other class a really smart question. They said, is that negative? Well, here's why it's not. We don't want to use negative 30. It's not on our unit circle. So that's the formula takes care of it. You can either make it negative if you had a negative 30 in your unit circle. You don't. Or you can use the subtractee formula. Does that make sense? So don't, on this case, we're not going to think of it as minus. You could, but we don't know what negative 30 is on the unit circle. We actually do, but that's a story for another day. So here we go. Let's put these on here. 2 yeah. And this is root 2 over 2. That looks good. Cosine 30. I think that is root 3 over 2. And I think this guy is 1/2. Does that look good? So it looks like it's going to be root 6 and minus, got the minus in there, root 2 over 4. How'd I do? Yeah? Well, I still like you have different signs than I do. Is that another problem? I got both positive.
Oh, I don't know why.
Okay, yeah. Again, you're like me. Careful, right? Be careful. Last one, best one. This is going to maybe make your head hurt a little bit. Here's what I'm telling you on this one. I don't know how to do a negative one. So what I want you to do, I want you to think right now, I want you to make two numbers that subtract to be positive 75, right? So take the number 45 and think something minus 45 equals 75 right now. All right, you can even do it on your calculator. You could just be like, okay, 45 plus 75, I don't know, is that like 120, right? Okay, so here's what I know. I know 120, take away 45 equals 75. Is everybody comfortable with that fact? Right? No one's like, let's see, you're a big liar. Watch what I'm going to do. What happens if I switch their places? 45, take away 120. What do I get instead? Negative 75. So there you go. That's why when Thal asked me, does it matter the order? On the adding ones, no. But on the subtracting ones, yes. Use the little guy as my A and the big guy as my B. Does that make sense? So that's how I do it. You put it in using the subtracting formula. It will take care of the negative. Does that make sense?
Put it in as 120.
You put it in as 120, absolutely. Because if I put it in as negative 120, I don't know where that is on my stupid unit circle, right? Good question. Don't put it in as negative 120. The minus is taken care of by the formula, right? That's why we're using because remember, subtract and negative, same thing. But at this point, subtract is more useful to us. I'm not going to do this one because I'm lazy. And I hate these problems. I really do. I really hate this. Because I make too many mistakes. I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I'd like you to do 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. Did I do that really cool, tricky thing where I put the answers where you just flip it up? Yes. Does that make me super happy when I do that? It does.
It makes me happy.
I know. I just love the fact you just do that and you check. So 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom.
I appreciate it, Miss T.
Okay. Did you get it? Is it negative? Negative root 2 minus root 6 over 4? Does that seem right? Am I good with that? Is that the correct answer? Anyone do it?
I got
I got
Okay, I'm gonna do it. Now you're gonna, well, let me pass out the homework. You know what?
Oh, it is positive.
Oh, sorry. Chris lied, yes. It is positive root 6 and negative root 2. All over 4. Beautiful. Come on. Hey, but that's a good sign. All you have to be is careful.